Noxter, and this is OtlichNew. Surprisingly enough, I have no idea what happened last time because it was like a year ago or something. But let's just see what's happening. I built a dartboard. You can play darts. It's fun. You get a trident. One of these. Which? That's an axe. Riptide 3. I mean, I could just use mine. Basically, you stand in the water and you go whee, and you land, and you get scores. And there's instructions in here and rules about how the scores work. It's fun. It's a challenge. And there's a high score book in here somewhere. Rules. I don't think anyone else has put any scores in there for some reason. Oh, it's raining. Lovely. Yeah. But either way. Oh, that's right. You have to pay money. You can practice as much as you like, but if you want to enter a score for the high score, you got to pay money. Something like that. Yeah, but you can play it as a single player, just me getting a high score, or you can play it with a friend, if you have any, and do it competitively. And there's rules. Read the rules. It's fun. Right. The thing I built ages and ages ago, back in the dawn of time, was an iron farm / shop, which is really cool, which I'm sure probably all of you have seen because it's been sitting around for a year and hasn't been doing much, but it's raining and that's annoying. This is free range iron. It's called Oh the Irony, and instead of selling, just iron out of a chest, you buy a golem and slaughter it yourself. So they're roaming around happily. They have a natural diet of wild spawn zombies that come around. You can see some of them are broken. That's just natural wear and tear. It's all organic. And you just go grab a lead from here. You just borrow a lead. You go, oh, I'll have some iron, thanks. I'll take you and you and come along, guys. And you just mosey on down here. Put that up there. They get yoinked in there. You can put the leads back and you're done. And why is he bouncing up there instead of falling down? I don't know. Physics. Grab your iron and your drops. And then you pay, and the clever thing is the payment is per golem that you harvest. So rather than paying for so much iron, it's a bit of a gamble kind of thing because you don't know how much they're going to drop. And that's fun. The way it works, it's actually self-restocking. There's actually kind of a regular iron farm underneath here. Woo! Down there. I think it still works. And yeah, they just come up this water elevator right in the middle, pop up through the snow and the scaffolding, and here they go. You'll notice all these pressure plates dotted around. They're not just decorational. They're trying to count, sort of, in quotes, the number of golems here so it doesn't spawn too many. So basically, whenever any one of these pressure plates is pushed down, blah, 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 my tongue is broken today. Anytime any one of these pressure plates is pressed, it'll do a countdown cooldown where it stops spawning new ones. So if you've got enough crowding here that one of them is pressed, you'll get more. If they're thinly spread enough, you won't. It doesn't actually stop them spawning, it just sends any that spawn down to... It just shuts these pistons off, and then they all show up in here instead, which I've recently collected. So yeah, you see they go. Now they can't go all the way up, they just go down to here. But if they can go all the way up, they can. And the problem is, I think I did have some issues where they just get loads and loads of them piling up in here, even though that's supposed to stop that from happening. And I think maybe if you're far enough away, they don't wander around, so if they're not standing on the pressure plates, they won't, and I don't know. So I've got a manual switch, sometimes I just turn it off. But so far the server hasn't been busy enough that that's a problem. It's fun. I was working on was this fancy Scrabble game, because part of the features of the resource pack and the custom data packs we have is I've added these fancy Scrabble tiles. Woo! So I thought you can make it like an asynchronous sort of game where you just come along one day, have a turn, and move on. And someone else can come along and have their turn, and it's not 1 versus 1, it's like everyone has like a shared pool. So these are like the letters you have to use. and there's stuff, and you can write a game log, and it's fancy. And the idea is, it doesn't have to be me, then you, then me, then you. It could be like me, then you, then me, and then some other guy comes along and has a turn, and whatever. That was kind of the idea. So I thought, just to give an example, we need to write up all the rules and do like a demo game, so we could have an example for the logbook. So I started doing that, I didn't finish it, I got bored, and I left it. So technically, the game's all ready to go. So you write down your last turn, who was last there, and you can say, oh, I want to swap out these letters. There's a system, something you can do that, and the lamp lets someone know, and they can. It's quite complicated, but also fairly simple, and it's nice. You just tap this note block, and it shuffles a new one letter up, and you can fill up your tray that way. And it's pretty fancy, and that's right. I think you can return them there, something like that. I don't know. It's been ages. It's a fun idea. It's technically working, but I haven't bothered to set it up, and no one's ever used it. So, story of my life, really. So I've decided I kind of need a proper storage system because my inventory's a mess. And it's always been a mess for like years and years. I haven't had a proper storage system. I had a semi-proper one last season, but I need a proper one. And yeah, lovely little house there. I finally got around to building my house. Looks nice and cute and tiny and cozy. When you look at a house that big, you'd think, what would that be? 2 stories, if they're nice spacious stories, maybe 3 if you cram a little attic. You wouldn't think that in, 8 blocks high? I think 9 if you count the roof. You wouldn't think that's got a 5-story mansion in there. But it is. Because this house is a house for miniature people. Noxter's micro mansion. Look, the gate is so miniature, you can't even get through it. Even if you go into elytra crawling mode, you still can't fit through it. It's entirely decorational. But the house is functional, somewhat decorated, and you go in through this nice door into this marvellous atrium with the grand staircases up the either side, these little guys with statue things. It's just beautiful. And the key point is here, there's nowhere that you can accidentally stand up and get stuck. So I've got these hoppers for the roof because they make it just the right height to make it nice and roomy, and yet you can't stand up. Yes, so there's a nicely decorated foyer. There's also a basement. You can go down. I haven't really properly decorated the basement yet. And then that goes down into where I've got my storage system and stuff underneath there. But let's do the ground tour. So ground floor is just like atrium area. So it's nice. You've got a back door where you can go out, walk down the miniature pathway to this little thing. Little miniature, what do you call that thing that's like a dock thing, except it's way high. It's lookout balcony, I don't know. It's there. Right. Oh yes, miniature tree down the side too. Adds to the stupid hedges. Right. Yep. But if you go up these either set of stairs, I'm very bad at doing tour apparently. You come to like the living room, and I think this smoker makes a perfect vintage TV, don't you think? With a little antenna on top. You've got this chair, which is pretty big. It's kind of weird. There's a lot of places in here you really have to use your imagination. Now, we do have the armor statues book, which I used to those guys down in and pointing at them through the floor. When I designed this, I wasn't planning on using it. I was just for regular vanilla use. So a lot of places I could probably use more of those for decoration. But anyway, you've got a nice roaring fireplace, some grating. Don't drop items on here because the floor's all hoppers. And there's even a tiny little balcony. You come out here, it's a nice view. You just pop out here. Now, you kind of break the immersion if you... I'm supposed to be looking at my face. I can't see my face. I'm stuck. Wait, why am I inside? I'm supposed to be outside. There you go. Now you can see them actually crawling and I'm not actually tiny. So don't invite friends around. But yeah, this tiny little balcony. But yeah, that shuts in your face. Right. I spent far too much time talking about the balcony. Yeah, so I was saying there's probably lots of places where I could use better decorations using armor stands, but I didn't do that much. Okay, up on the 3rd floor now, we've got this little hallway section. What will I show you first? The bathroom. And again, there's lots of imagination you need to use. So in the bathroom, so basically the dark oak doors are walls. Don't open them. Just pretend they're walls. And the birch ones are doors. So you got a toilet, which is, looks just like a flower pot. But it makes a nice little toilet. I don't know if that's supposed to be a mirror or the cistern or whatever. bone block as toilet paper because actual toilet paper is too big. Now this is one place I did use an armor stand. Originally I had like a turtle shell there for my plan, but because I can use better things because of the armor statues book. Yeah, so that was one I was going to still have an armor stand in vanilla. So this is supposed to be like a sink for washing your hands. There's no hole in it. It's okay. Just pretend. There's lots pretending. This towel is very large. This shower is, I mean, there's no nozzle, and you can kind of imagine that's a drain. Kind of. Like I said, use your imagination. The space is there. Nice little views through the window. And out of the bathroom, we've got this. This is like the hallway, storage closet area with, that looks like some kind of shelfy thing, maybe. Could be. Barrels and storage and things. I don't know. Again, imagine. Pretend it's something. Lots of shelves and cupboards and shelves. In here is my office. This is fancy. We've got a desk, which is a little bit tall. If I jump, you can just see over the top of it. But if I stand on this chair, which looks exactly like the toilet, except on top of a weird slopey thing. Maybe it's like one of those fancy... Oh, my game's crashed. Perfect timing. I was saying, maybe it's like those fancy chairs with the stool nearly thing or something. I don't know. Did the game crash or the server closed? If I was professional, I would cut this bit out. I'm not professional. I'm too busy to be professional. Now I can see onto my desk. I guess if I have visitors around, they can't. They just have to stand here and I can look down on them. I don't know. But it's an office. You can tell the space. You get the idea. It's actually pretty spacious in here. It's far too much room to the sides. Need to work on that. Right. Now onto the... What floor are we onto? The 4th floor. This is only the 4th floor. There's still more. This is like your kitchen dining area. So we've got tables. Again, these chairs look exactly like the toilets. The flower pots, but at least it's stand up. And again, you've got this slab. This is the table. So if you can imagine 3 people sitting around here, bearing in mind, of course, that you'll be looking like... Sorry. There. Oh, no. It's very cramped in here. There. We'll be looking like this, sitting around the table, on our faces. But you can imagine 3 people sitting around here having a chat. There's just carpeted space, bookshelves for your reading pleasure. Another balcony over the other side. This one sticks out a little bit further, and you can even stand up, sneak up on the edge. Whee! Isn't that fancy? And look down on the world, at how much bigger you are than the rest of the world, even though you're tiny. Right. The kitchen, more imagination. You know how before in the bathroom we had a sink that was like an iron block floating in armor thing? Here we've just got a trapdoor on a hopper. So it's like, doesn't look a lot like a sink. Like I said, use your imagination. Shelves for, I don't know, maybe recipe books or something. And this is like, is it a bench top? Is it a stove? You decide. Barrels for storage and an oven for cooking things. There's kind of this weird blend between things that are actually functional and things that just look decorative and miniature. It's weird. I could probably do better if I was, you know, stuck with one style or not. I don't care. Here's my bedroom. The bed is full-sized, and that's because it's actually functional. I don't know if I really need it to be functional, because there's other beds around, but it's a pain to get up here because you crawl so slowly. So maybe I would be better off using something small and using a decorative bed instead. I don't know, is this house functional or is it decorative? I mean, there's loads of storage, but there's too many to be bothered using it nicely because it's all over the place. So I'm building a proper storage system in the basement. But yes, this is actually functional. You can sleep on here, and when you wake up, you stand here. You're standing up. You're not supposed to be standing up. So you can press this button. Blink. Or you can, you know, just put the trapdoors yourself. This one you can flip you down. You can actually drop yourself into the floor below, and then you'll be down here. Right. But kind of, if you just want to think, I just woke up, I'm back to my normal size. This is the proper way of doing it, I imagine. So that's the 4th floor, and finally, we go up yet another level, and we have an attic, which is just crammed full of shelves, and did I originally have something decorative in that item frame? I don't remember. There's supposed to be something back there, but I didn't bother to do that, because who cares? There's boxes and barrels, and everything's crammed in, and even in all this space, you still can't stand up. You know what's cool? You can squeeze up here, in this tiny little gap. The chimney from the fireplace goes all the way up through. It's lovely. More boxes, shelves. This was better in my test world because that faced a different direction and it had something there instead of just a wall. But that's okay. Right, and this is the attic. Like I said, again, use your imagination quite a lot, and you can just imagine that it's a really tiny house, or that you're really tiny and the house is really big. And even though it's like 5 by 5 blocks of interior space, or 7, I think, on the high levels. Yeah, where it jetties out, it gets a bit bigger. Even though it's only that size, it's still a massive 5-story luxurious mansion. And it's got this cool, crazy, like the jetty wall style with the balcony sticking out in all directions. Let's just go fly around and have a proper look at it. Except we're flying too fast to have a proper look at it. So let's go stand in a convenient location. Oh yeah, we've got the yeah, dragon across the top with the dragon head on the end and the tail at the back. And I did the fancy roof where you break up all the tiles and reshape them. And yeah, nice. And the chimney sticks out the top and there's no smoke coming out of it because that would be tricky. You have to put a fire in there and then you'd see it or something. That's my house. I kind of like it. Do I have any other projects to show you? Not really. Like I did some clearing. I was trying to make it panda farm, and then I cleared an island of jungle, and then they updated it, and they didn't just spawn in that kind of jungle anymore. So I was deciding to destroy a whole bunch of other jungle, and then I got bored. But nothing really to show. Oh, yes, there is the creepling farm. I forgot about that. So we got a data pack, which I made. I don't know if I mentioned last time. I don't know what happened last time, but we've got these despawners, which kind of stop, in quotes, mobs from spawning within an area. Nasty mobs, so that you can have areas that are dark but still safe. But we kind of decided that's a little bit OP sometimes, and sometimes you just want to... You're happy to have a few zombies around, like in the Iron Farm. It's nice that they get their natural zombie spawn intake. Natural zombie diet. But you don't want things that blow your stuff up. So we decided we've got these other systems. The classic example is over here. I'll just put this shield in your face. Where you can build these, which are very, very similar to the despawners, except they only affect creepers. And this one's actually in the middle of 2 blocks, so it's only one of them actually counts, that one. But so it's an ender crystal on top of the respawn anchor, on top of a lamp, and you can turn the lamp on and off to turn the thingo on and off. And what this one does is go poof like that. Perfect timing. Is when a creeper spawns anywhere within, I think it's a 100-block radius, like a spherical from that, it'll remove the creeper and replace it with a creepling, which is a special kind of mob. It's actually just a husk that's been retextured, well, not retextured, with a creeper head and armor on. I'll go show you something. And yeah, so I've buffed them up with lots of things like speed and damage and stuff. Here they are. Here's a whole bunch of them. So they're really nice. The idea is they still sneak up on you like creepers and suddenly attack you and do a lot of damage like creepers, but only to you, not the environment. And I think I need to nerf them a little bit because they're a little bit too annoying to deal with. But I haven't been able to do that. So we'll do an update sometime probably where I'll make them. What I want to do, I want to decrease their follow range, because at the moment they get it from the husk and not the creeper, and the creepers are supposed to have short. So these guys kind of chase you from halfway across the kingdom, and it's annoying. So I'll shorten that. Kind of reduce the amount of damage they do, because I made them do a lot of damage because I'm thinking, well, a creeper blows up, it does a lot of damage. But a creeper also blows up, does a lot of damage, and then it's gone. Whereas these guys can hit you, and then hit you, and hit you, and hit you again. And they're so fast because they've got speed buffs. They're just a pain. So I think I'll make them do not quite so much damage. And the other thing is, of course, creepers have that iconic hiss when they get close to you, which scares the pants off you and makes you run and jump, and they still blow up anyway because you were too slow. I want to make these dudes do some kind of blood-curdling scream when they get close. Or some other noise that still alerts you when they get close. Right. So I want to add those nerfs when I can be bothered. Yeah. Let's kill a bunch of these guys. The bonus of these guys being baby husks, and or zombies, is that they drop more XP than creepers normally would, or pretty much any other mob, actually. So the thing is, with that is, obviously, if you do fancy pigman farms or whatever people make these days, you can kill as many things as you like with perfect killingness, and there's still only so fast the XP can go into your body, because there's like 1 orb per tick or something like that. Ding, 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 ding. But if you kill these guys, it's still only the same 1 orb, but because they have dropped more XP, the amount of XP in each orb is greater, so that you can actually get the XP into you a lot faster than with anything. Is it more than Guardians? I think it is. I don't remember. Look up the numbers on the wiki. So, the takeaway from that is that if you can have, you know, an infinite supply of these, like you would for your Enderman farm, you'll get XP a lot faster. So, it was something I actually wanted to try a long time ago for an XP, like where you can somehow get babies, but there's no real reliable way to do that normally. Like I thought you could breed villagers, get a lot of baby villagers, get a zombie to convert them all at once, and then you could have a super fast XP farm. But I couldn't really make that viable, because, yeah, you got to keep the babies, but then you got to not have the dude. So, yeah, it doesn't really work. But because we've got this nice little data pack, when we can do it with these guys, so that's nice. So I decided noisy portals. Right, so what I'm doing up here, in this setup, I've got, obviously, the farm, they spawn down there, and it's just like a normal creeper farm spawning conditions, but because of that thing that just went poof, then they go poof, and they turn into these guys, and then you need to use, I think I used turtle eggs to lure them out, and then up into these tubes. So, but I also made it double as a creeper farm as well, so if I want gunpowder, I do that, and it flicks a signal down this post here. And what that means is now that the crystal thingy is turned off, so now we'll get creepers. And the creepers actually just get killed down there, I think. Is how it does it. I don't remember. Pretty sure it is. It is, but I'm... What did I use? Campfires? No, I think I used something else. I don't remember. Anyway, instead of sending these little buggers up here, it sends gunpowder up here. And that gets sorted into these chests. So we've got a fairly decent gunpowder farm as well. And I decided I can sell everything directly from the farm for toilet paper. So the idea is you come here and you just pay 1 toilet paper, which is $1/4 of a diamond for you people who still buy in diamonds because the exchange was out of toilet paper for so long. And you can stay here as long as you like, enchant, mend, whatever, and you can do that. And you can buy that gunpowder is really cheap because there's gunpowder, there's lots of it. Or you can buy like an annual, or no, a lifetime access pass, and it's just 2 stacks of toilet paper, which is only 16 diamonds, and you can just come here as much as you like. That's nice. Are there still spare angles? There are. So this has got all your enchanting needs. Another thing I forgot to mention, very disorganized of course, as usual, is the armor that these guys drop is a special thing I made. So it is leather armor. You can see we've got the custom resource pack that has this creeper logo on it. It's creepling hide, and the key point you'll see is there it's +7 armor and +1 armor toughness. So that's actually, even though it's technically leather, it's been modified to be more protective. It's between iron and diamond, so it's still not great, especially compared to netherite. It's the thing now, but you can dye it. So unlike your regular diamond or netherite armor, or even iron, which looks, you know, it's not customizable. It looks like it looks. Is the thing. So this stuff is customizable. It's not quite as good as diamond, but it's a bit of a trade-off. So I can wear blue pants, and of course the enchantment glint kind of covers it up anyway. But I can have colour in my armour, and without making too much of a sacrifice. Pardon me. Too much of a sacrifice in actual protection. So yeah, that's another bonus feature of these creeplings. Alright, now I think that's finally everything that I was going to mention. Ah yes, there's magma blocks that yellow dies. How does that work then? Oh, that's right, Usha's out to the side. Again, it's been over a year since I made this or something. So, yeah. So nice place, great for all your XP needs. And gunpowder as well. Ooh, that's fancy. You get launched up into the air when you're flying up there. Oh, hi. But yeah, probably nerf those guys. at some point, and I can be bothered. Once they start to bother me too much. I think I'm going to sign out now because I've said everything. It's been very disorganised, but I don't care. We've had fun. We've learned things. Thank you for watching. If you watched, if you just listened in the background, then no, thank you. You're a horrible person. You should have watched. Right. For some reason, everyone's always terrible at outros. It's not just me. Everyone does it. Bye. Bloody. Howdy, it's Schnockster, and I'm just testing the sound. That's all you need to worry about. Ooh, loading. Mojang Studios. Alright, so if I'm doing this, I've got a grating there, and what's something that'll make it in-game? That will. Chomp, chomp, chomp.